Alright guys, like I promised in my Earth Shimmers video, I have several more beam paints to swatch, so I'm going to get these done for you. You'll notice that I sort of have a theme. I lean very heavily towards blues and greens and purples, that kind of thing. So, oh, and River wants to play now. We're going to swatch these out and give you a look. So the paper that I'm using today is this B Paper Company watercolor pad, 140 pound. It is cold press. I actually found this at Walmart for cheap, and out of all of the non-cotton papers, this one is actually my favorite. So I actually do use this a fair bit, especially for practice or, you know, just swatching or stuff like that. So I do really like that. If you don't want to spend the money on a cotton paper, I don't blame you. I get it. I feel like that's actually a good paper to play with. So this first color is called Blueberry Mountain. The name is a little misleading. You would think that it would be blue, but it is a very deep purple. Come out a little bit. And it's a nice color. I made the mistake when I ordered it that I actually ended up ordering 3. Not quite sure how I managed that, but I did. So go me. I'll have a lot of this color to go around. Super nice purple though. This is Thundercloud, and it is a gray. I feel like this one has some granulation in it. It is, I would call it a mid-gray. It's not super light, but it's not super dark either. It's not quite like a charcoal. But it's still a nice steady gray. I rarely use black when I paint. I'm much more apt to use a gray instead. Neutral tint is actually one of my favorites. I use it a lot. This is Mars Violet. I think this is the only color I got that I was kind of like, I don't think it quite turned out the way I expected. Not that it's a bad color, just like I said, not what I expected. This is almost a Perylene violet kind of color is what I would equate it to. And it has some granulation in it, I think, as well. And then our next color is this Turtle Belly. It is it's an orange, but if you put it on heavy, it definitely goes kind of red. It was kind of a neat color because it does have some variation in it, and then when you thin it down, you get a little more yellow in it. So definitely a nice versatile color. Sky is pretty much what you think. I do believe that this is one of their gouache colors. Don't hold me to that, but I think so. It's just a nice light blue. Perfect for a nice sky. Lift some clouds out of that. Have a beautiful sky color. And then this Topaz Lake. Nice aqua color. And my painting diary, I actually had to dedicate a page to like the aquas and the turquoises because I have so many of them, because they're probably one of my favorite colors. And I broke these up into the regular colors, and then we'll do the mica colors in a minute. This is the Lake Huron Teal. This one is a little less tinting, I guess. A little more transparent, perhaps. Not in a bad way, just not quite as heavy on the color as some of the others, but it's a really pretty color. And I ended up really liking these greens that I got. This pine's really nice. Let me make sure, yeah. And then all the greens I got this time were super great. I got some stuff on the Hummingbird. But it's just nice green. Let's see if I can. There we go. Alright, and then this Boreal is the last regular color that I have. And so, this is a darker green. This is almost, like I would say a darker green-gray kind of color. And then we've got Rainforest, which is, now we're into the micas. So this is going to be a shimmery green. And this one has a silvery base in the mica. So if you watched my other video with the Northern Pike, that was kind of an olive green. This is a more straightforward green with the mica. Now, out of all the colors I bought this time, this next one is definitely one of my absolute favorites. This is Hummingbird. It's an aqua kind of color. And it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I actually had my painter's diary out. I'm trying to build a palette that I bought, and I had it out on my work desk, and somebody from work came in, and it was on the page that this was on, and they immediately pointed at it and was like, that's such a beautiful color. So yeah, it's honestly, that may actually be my favorite color out of this batch. And this is the Lake Superior Blue. When I ordered this, I actually didn't realize it was a mica color, so I was surprised when I got it. And nice, kind of mid-blue. And because amethyst is my birthstone, I of course needed to grab the amethyst. When I was a kid, I used to hate that my birthstone was amethyst because it was supposed to be diamond. I always hated that, and then as I got older, I really like my birthstone now. So this is amethyst. This is a light purple. Lots of shimmer. This rose hip kind of makes me think of the Winsor Newton Rose Doré color, but with shimmer. So it's kind of a little more subtle color, and it's not a super in your face when you put it down, but a really nice, it's not really a pink, I guess I'd call it maybe a corally pink, but I really like this color too. It's really pretty. It's got some, the shimmer in this one's maybe a hair more subtle, but still very, very nice. And a lot of times with these shimmers, you think, oh, there's not much there, and then it dries and you're just like, holy crap. This is Orca, so this is actually a dark gray. This is kind of, I guess I would call it more of a charcoal gray. And the shimmer on it is through the roof. And there might be a hint of blue in this Orca. Just a hint. I'm actually going to skip the silver real quick because I want to take a minute with it. But the sample color that they sent me this time was the spring green. Normally I'm not super big on these super like yellowy greens for some reason, but this is actually really nice. And I will probably actually end up buying a paint stone on this because I do like it. And when they gave me this sample, of course it's wet, I can't turn it over now. It's not a small amount, guys. Like, I mean, it's got some depth to it. It's probably a quarter pound worth, honestly. So this will last me a bit, but again, just a nice color, and it's not a small amount, which is cool. So I want to talk about this silver. I mentioned it in my other video. So this is where I wet it. Y'all, this looks like mercury, like liquid mercury, and I am obsessed. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, even look at the way it bunches up. Holy crap. This is almost like liquid silver leaf or something. And even when it goes on paper, it still looks like that. So if you want a silver that is silver and isn't gonna get lost, this is going to be your one. I mean, look at that. Even on the paper, it still has that mercury look to it. I was stunned when I wet this down. I really was. I was not expecting that payoff. I have a couple of other silver watercolors that I'm kind of like, on. I mean, they're okay. I ended up kind of going, oh, dog here. Going to a gouache to try and get the look I wanted on certain things. And that's fine. But yeah, this silver is amazing. And I love it. So yeah, like I said, when I wet it down and it had that, like, it just makes me think of Terminator 2 and the T-1000. Like, that's kind of what it made me think of. And of course, as a kid, when you broke a thermometer and you didn't know any better, you play with the very highly toxic mercury. So, but yeah, this silver is awesome. So I didn't really have any bad colors. Again, I've never had anything, I think, from Beam that I felt was bad. This Blueberry Mountain is a solid purple. Really, really lovely. This Thundercloud can be useful in a lot of things. I'm going to lift this up a little bit. That Thundercloud, I feel like it does dry a hair darker as well. And like I said, that Mars Violet kind of comes across as Perylene Violet. The Turtle Belly, I feel, is very versatile. There's a lot of play in that color, from that almost vermilion color down to that more yellow orangey color. And then, of course, the sky is just a really nice sky blue. I feel like it is a little more opaque. Your Topaz Lake, your Lake Huron are both nice turquoisey aqua colors. And then the pine, I actually really like this pine. It's a nice color. It's not a super fake green color, I guess. The Boreal is a not quite piney color, but a darker green that's also nice. And then as far as your Micas go, that Rainforest is lovely with the silvery shimmer. Now this Hummingbird, actually the shimmer in it is kind of blue. And it's still a little wet, so I don't think it's showing up as good as it normally does. But it is, like I said, if I'm going to pick one off of here, well, I'd have to pick two, because that Hummingbird and that silver would probably be the two. The Lake Superior, just a nice kind of mid to light blue with some shimmer. And then Amethyst is a lighter purple. That Rose Hip, the shimmer on it's a little more subtle, but it is there. And it's just a nice corally pink color that I really ended up liking it a good bit. That Orca is lovely. Like I said, more of a, I guess, a charcoaly gray mica. And then the Spring Green, also very lovely. That's the sample I got. Like I said, I do have a good bit of it on that sample, but at some point when I use it up, I'll most likely end up ordering that color because I do like it. And then this silver, like I said, holy cow. If you are looking for a silver and you need something that's gonna really pop, even on paper, you're gonna be happy with that one, I think. So again, all of these came from Beam, all wonderful colors. Don't have any complaints with any of them. I haven't had any complaints with any of them yet. I will show you hopefully you can see the shimmer and the Rose Hip. Like I said, this is the only one I think I've had that the shimmer's more subtle on. and that could be because the mica in it is more tuned to the color itself, kind of like this hummingbird, where the mica in it is actually a colored mica as opposed to just like a silver or gold mica. But this is the hummingbird. Like I said, this is the one that I've had people point out, and it's gorgeous. I kind of want to do some butterflies here soon, I think, and use some of these micas to just make really pretty butterflies. I've been seeing a lot of the blue swallowtails lately, and I kind of want to paint those. But I don't usually do things like butterflies because they require some symmetry, and I'm not very good at that. So I guess we're going to be practicing. But anyway, these are the colors that I got, and really like them. Like I said, I always have nice things to say about Beam because I think they're fantastic. So if you see a color on here that you think you want to try, you can hit up Beam Paints. They do have some places across Canada and the US that carry their paint stones and their little sets, like the trio that I have. They do have those in certain stores, and I believe, oh gosh, I don't know if it's Blick or Jackson's or one of the big ones, I believe, has started carrying them. I know there's some of the smaller ones that have started carrying their stuff, so definitely check it out. This is one of the kits that the trio sets that I was referring to, that come in the nice little tray here. But they're growing, and they've got a lot of places where they can be found. So by all means, check them out. Grab yourself a couple colors. Hopefully you've seen a few here that you like, and maybe it'll spur you to grab a few. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the swatch, and I will see you next time.